Welcome back to the Motivated Mind Zone. Glad to have you here. Today we're diving deep into something that sounds maybe a bit basic, but our sources call it the rhythm that keeps our lives moving forward, the daily routine.
Mm.
It's often overlooked, maybe, but we found some really compelling evidence that these consistent habits are absolutely key to feeling balanced, organized, and, in control.
Yeah, absolutely. Whether you're juggling coursework, a demanding job, or just, well, modern life.
Exactly. So our mission today, we've looked at routines from different folks, students, professionals, and we're pulling out those small but essential habits that really define a productive, organized day.
And it's not just what they do, right? It's about the underlying structure.
Hmm.
We're synthesizing how they manage things like information overload and those uh, energy dips throughout the day.
And crucially, we're also focusing on some key vocabulary. We notice people who nail this structure use specific words, terms like recharge or reset button.
Like mental triggers almost.
Yeah, they seem to bring the concepts to life. So we want to unpack those for you too.
What's really fascinating is how universal that need for structure is. The routines look different on the surface, someone starting at 7 a.m. versus 6:30 a.m., but the psychological foundation is pretty much the same.
Okay.
We've sort of broken it down into three key moments: the morning prep, that afternoon focus period, and then the evening transition.
All right, let's kick off with the morning rhythm then. Because how you launch the day seems to set the pace for everything else.
It really does. It's more than just waking up. It's about starting intentionally.
So we saw one source, a student, usually up around 7 a.m. Another, a professional needing an early start, gets up by 6:30.
Right. But despite that time difference, those first few moves are almost identical. It's all about a gentle, kind of physiological entry into the day.
And that gentle entry starts with the immediate stretch, not a full workout, right?
No, just taking a moment, maybe still in bed, to breathe, move a little before jumping out.
Yeah, sources said it helps shift the body chemistry from sleep mode to, well, alert mode.
It breaks that sleep inertia, basically, gets things moving gently. And it's followed right away by the next non-negotiable: hydration.
The glass of water first thing.
Exactly. It's not just about thirst. It's like the quickest signal to your system that, okay, we're awake now. And it replenishes you before caffeine even comes into the picture.
Okay, then comes breakfast. And here we saw a difference. The student often went for a light breakfast oatmeal, maybe toast, simple energy.
Quick fuel before class, yeah. Whereas the professional, maybe facing a longer stretch of work before a break, opted for something a bit heavier: eggs and toast, or a smoothie with protein.
So that difference is about planning for the cognitive load ahead.
Precisely. The student needs that quick energy without feeling weighed down. The professional needs more sustained fuel. But there's a risk with the heavier option, of course.
Sluggishness.
Right. Feeling sluggish if it's too carb-heavy too early.
Okay, but wait, doesn't a light breakfast mean you're starving by mid-morning? How did they manage that?
That's a fair point. The goal isn't necessarily to eliminate hunger, but to ensure those first couple of hours are really productive, uncompromised. And the next step actually helps deal with feeling scattered later.
Which is?
Immediately after breakfast, both of them would check their schedule or review their to-do list.
The organizational anchor.
Yes. Checking that to-do list before diving into emails or reacting to things ensures you're setting the agenda, not just responding.
So you feel organized right from the start. It stops that feeling of finishing breakfast and thinking, okay, now what? Where do I even begin?
Exactly. So the sequence is stretch and hydrate for the body,
Yeah.
fuel appropriately, light breakfast being one way, and then hit the to-do list for mental clarity. That sets the stage for tackling the afternoon.
Which brings us to the afternoon gear shift. This is often the busiest time, right? Meetings, classes, deep project work requires real focused effort.
Definitely. And this is prime time for that infamous mid-afternoon energy slump.
The enemy of productivity.
Well, it's physiological, largely. Our sources pointed out a heavy lunch, especially high carb, pulls blood flow to digestion away from your brain.
Yeah.
Hence, feeling foggy.
So the lunch strategy isn't about calories necessarily, it's about brain management.
You got it. Lunch needs to be kept relatively light. Focus on protein, vegetables, Things like a salad, a sandwich on whole grain, maybe a quinoa bowl. Avoiding those really heavy nap-inducing meals is key.
But staying laser focused for, 3 or 4 hours straight is pretty much impossible. Breaks are obviously important, but how did people structure them effectively?
They treated them as non-negotiable, mandatory, structured moments, not just if I have time. Even just 5 minutes away from the desk or the task to recharge.
Okay, recharge. That sounds active. What does that actually involve?
It's about stepping away completely,
Yeah.
physically moving, maybe grabbing water, looking out a window, just disconnecting for a moment. True productivity isn't linear, it's cyclical. You need those little recovery periods.
So the break isn't wasted time. It actually helps you regroup.
Absolutely. It allows the brain to process things in the background. When you come back, you're often refreshed, ready to tackle the next block of work. It allows you to prepare for the second half of the day.
And then they use that refreshed state to do what?
That's often the time they target their most important tasks. Try to knock them out while they still feel productive before that end-of-day fatigue really sets in.
I like that phrase, knockout. It sounds efficient, like getting things done.
Yeah, it implies focus and completion. Using that post-lunch, post-recharge energy burst effectively.
What about people in, say, an office where stepping away is harder? Or someone commuting?
The principle holds, the application just adapts. For some, the recharge might be a quick mindfulness exercise at their desk, or standing up to take a call, or even just a brisk walk to the water cooler and back. The core idea is breaking the pattern, minimizing feeling sluggish by making an intentional shift.
Right, that intentionality again.
Managing the afternoon really boils down to managing that cognitive load, using strategies like recharge and regroup to keep your energy up so you can knock out what matters.
Okay, so we've powered through the morning and afternoon. How do successful routines handle the wind down, the evening transition?
Evenings are crucial for the ability to, well, unwind. You can't just switch off from high gear to sleep. Cortisol levels need to come down.
And dinner plays a part.
A big part, usually around 7:00 p.m., kept reasonably simple but satisfying. Grilled fish, stir fry, maybe pasta or a rice bowl. Again, nothing too heavy that demands a lot of digestive work late at night.
Makes sense. And after dinner?
That's when the active de-stressing starts. Gentle, low-demand activities, maybe a short, slow walk, some light stretching. These signal to the brain, okay, the intense part of the day is done.
And then you mentioned this micro routine.
Ah, yes, the simple act of brushing teeth, washing your face. It was described as a small part of my routine, but psychologically, it's huge.
How so?
It functions like hitting the reset button. It's this definite physical act that draws a line under the day's stresses and activities, a clean break.
That reset button concept is really interesting. It's concrete, low effort, but signals a clear transition.
It's a behavioral anchor, exactly.
Yeah.
And it sets up the final, vital stage, actively preparing for sleep.
Which means?
The absolute non-negotiable across the board was avoiding screens right before bed. That blue light, the constant stream of information, it just fights against relaxation.
So what did they do instead?
They'd consciously wind down, read a physical book, listen to calming music, maybe have a cup of herbal tea.
Ah, herbal tea. Important distinction there, no caffeine.
Critical. It's warm, comforting, ritualistic. It physically reinforces that wind-down process, signaling sleep is approaching.
And all this leads to a consistent bedtime.
Yes, usually around 10:00 or 10:30 p.m. That consistency is key for your circadian rhythm. The sources really emphasized how much better they felt the next day when they stuck to it. It ensures you get that full night's sleep needed to wake up ready to, well,
Yeah.
stretch and hydrate all over again.
Exactly. It completes the loop. The whole evening structure, unwind, reset button, wind down is about facilitating restorative rest.
So we've covered the whole arc, haven't we? From that first morning stretch to the calming herbal tea at night. I think the essential takeaway for you listening is that whether you're studying, working, whatever, having some kind of routine, some structure is just vital for staying organized and feeling like you're actually in control.
Yeah, and it's not just about raw productivity, is it? It's also about building in those moments to relax, to recharge, look after your own, cognitive health.
Absolutely.
And this deep dive really highlights how language and action kind of go hand in hand. Understanding why you do this stretch or choose a light breakfast helps make the habit stick. We saw how breaks help you regroup and avoid feeling sluggish.
Right. But here's a final thought to mull over. We talked about the evening teeth brushing routine being like a reset button for the end of the day. Okay, so if the biggest threat to afternoon productivity is that energy slump, what simple micro ritual could you introduce right after lunch? Something small, maybe changing posture or location briefly, to act as a midday reset button. How could you apply that powerful metaphor earlier in your day to preempt the slump altogether?
That's a great question to ponder. Keep building those healthy, intentional habits, everyone. And we'll see you next time on the deep dive. Have a balanced, productive day ahead.